All right, ladies and welcome to another edition of From the Ground Up. We are officially back, season one, another season and an episode one of the season. Today, I have two very special guests. I'm so glad that these guys are able to join me on the show. We got my young brothers D White and Easy on the show. Welcome, fellas. I appreciate y'all coming on so very much. This has been long anticipated for me. I know there's been a lot of basketball conversations going on, so I definitely want to get you guys' opinion and see what you guys think about some of the topics that's been going on these days. So first, we're gonna start. Obviously, we're all three from Illinois, so we all came up in the same era. You guys are maybe a year or two younger than me, but still, there was really a closeness there as far as the competition. So I wanted to ask you guys because you guys are well versed. We all hoop, so we kind like I said, we're well versed in this. What if you kind of describe like Illinois basketball in our era, like when we were growing up, and some of the hoopers that we got to see, some before us, some after us, like what would y'all describe that as? Like what was the kind of the I guess general feeling for Illinois basketball at that time? Either one of y'all can go.
Well, I'll go first. I think one word off top to me, uh, competitiveness. I think that was just the hype of our era because we learned from like the '90s cats and people from there just in that former era. I think we still had that competitive nature of like the Manual Central rivalry vibes. Like it was just real competitive. I feel like in our era, we really just wanted to uplift that. I guess culture that we had around here.
Yeah, I
What
would
about
probably say the same, competitive as well. I think especially being in that era playing. I know at the time, it was it was certain players, kind of wanted to go at each other from different teams and et
you?
cetera. Like Easy said, the rivals from school to school, trying to create that name and legacy that for yourself that you heard your peers had, like you said, from the '90s and et cetera and et cetera. But yeah, I think the word would be competitive for the most part.
I would agree. I think too what makes it so interesting in that is that in our respective era, like everybody knows everybody. Like we all have hooped together at some point or hooped against each other at some point. And I think where the separation was created is like what middle school you went to, and then it went from what high school you went to, because at that point you kind of had to draw a line in the sand, like like okay, you on
Yeah,
that side, like we cool, but you on that side, I'm on this
yeah,
side,
no, yeah, definitely
So
from that era. Yeah.
yeah, so like the rivalry games, right? Like the Mayo Centrals, the Richwood Centrals, the Woodruff Centrals, like we all played in those games, and I've had other people in that from our era on the show as well, and kind of asked them about that too. Like, what is that feeling like that week leading up to that rivalry game, from practice to just mental state? Like, what is that? What was your mindset at going on through your brain at that particular time?
Well, I know for me, it was always like a what's the word? It was always a big excitement. I think like I always looked at it as like you said that Monday leading up to that Friday, like you said, especially against those conference teams, the Richwoods, the Woodruff, the Manual, even Notre Dame. I just think it
Uh-huh.
was full of excitement that week. You had so much to prove, and like to some effect, you only got to play that team twice a year, and it was so spaced out. So
Yeah.
if you got ill that first time, it hurt so bad. You had to sit there and linger for a little while till you got a chance to rematch and make it up. But I just think that it was just like, yeah, it was just full of excitement. You were just you were so thirsty and excited and ready, eager, all of that to get to that Friday game. Obviously playing the game itself, but just the whole atmosphere, the fans, your family, the
Mm-hmm.
talk, just all of that combined. It was just excitement for that week leading up to those games.
It's crazy though, because my perspective is a little different because I guess my role in the team is a little different. I wasn't expected to be the star in any kind of capacity. I was just
Right.
always playing my role. So I feel like my biggest thing was mental preparation
Uh-huh.
because I was like, all right, cool. I know this dude, he has to bring it, right? Like he has to
Right.
bring it. He have to bring it. So now it's my mental preparation to be on that week to be like, okay, what can you do? What can you do better this week? Like, can you
Uh-huh.
be a better rebounder? Can you be a better a mental leader? Can you like? So that was my whole thing, kind of just get into a mental game of like,
Right.
I know my standards, but mentally I gotta take it up a notch to help these guys out.
Right. And that's an interesting perspective coming from, like you said, DY expecting to be the star, you playing a role. So the mentalities are different, but are similar but different in the fact of, I think you guys both alluded to, like, I have to be ready so that I know my teammate has to be ready, so I have to be ready so we can match that and kind of put that all in the melting pot and we can all be on the same page. And you brought up a good point, D. White, about the separation between that first game and that second game, because you might play a Rich Woods in the first week of the season and won't see them again for another couple months. So, and it's like, so outside of that, because I know for us, like when we had those rivalry games and let's say you took that L or whatever, or whoever took the L, seeing that opposite team out in the city after that was like, it was a problem.
Like, you have it.
Then it's
Yeah,
so small.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, you know, like you said, we at one point in time we played with or against each other our whole life. So leading up to high school, you know, you friends at the end of the day, you know. So you're gonna run into each other. And like Peoria is small, so you're gonna run into each other at a party, another basketball event. You might be at another game, and just that, you know, for one person, one setting, one school to have the upper hand over you, you know, it stings until that you get that chance, you know. So yeah.
Definitely, and like I said, I definitely know the feeling because those rivalry games, I always say like if you never actually got to experience it as a player, you don't really understand what that's like. Like bragging rights in the city meant so much because it was all we had. Like you said, everybody knows everybody. So yeah, but like it's we're definitely a basketball city, so it meant everything to have that upper hand. So we talked about the competition a little bit coming up. Who are some guys that you guys looked at to like in personally in our city, not professional, but just in the city, or even people that you may have heard about that you didn't see? Who are some of you guys like inspirations of like, I want to be like that guy, like I want to have status like that particular player?
I'll let you go first. Let me see. Well, I think off top, Sean Livingston, like our ears, like Jordan. I wore long socks because of Sean Livingston. I wanted to wear 14 because of Sean Livingston. You know, I want to work on my mid-range game because of Sean Livingston. So like that was off top. Was one of the ones to me. But I'd say my cousin DJ Richardson. I looked up to him a lot because that's my cousin. Like, backyards and barbecue and stuff like that. Just watching his game from the press. I was always a fan of him. The older guy like Marvin Jordan, I always loved his game too, like that. Just inspired me. Like they always had a game that made me want to like get my game better.
Absolutely. How about you, D. White?
I would say Sean for sure. I think Sean is, kind of a hands down, just even if you didn't or actual fan, just his story and what he showed, this whole road to it. But for me personally, I would have to probably start with my father, Charles White. For those who don't know, he was part of that '89 team from Central that lost one game and lost to the state championship game, East St. Louis. Yep, I lost by I want to say 1-3, triple overtime. So a lot of people play with that game, but just that's my dad. So obviously, growing up, starting at a young age, I heard those stories to start off with. So trying to live up to those shoes, and fill those expectations, that was a goal for me. Then once I think I got started and can like see for myself Peoria ball, I remember so I want to say my 5th grade year when I first came to Rolling Acres. I came in, I think I was a pretty good, upcoming 5th grader for the city. But then I seen people as far as like you said, DJ Richardson, pretty much the whole varsity team. Yeah. And then I think it was Jontel Lindsay, honestly, for me, which is my big playing behind him and him actually being at Rolling Acres with me. I think that was a big motivator and like, okay, this dude, he is something special. He real tough. He's one of them in the city, and both hands, ambidextrous. So I was looking up to him a lot, especially at that age.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you said his name because I don't think people give him enough credit as far as in the hoop world. Like, because it's easy to say like the Sean Livingston, Jamar Smith, DJ Richardson. Like, it's so those are like the names that are that'll pop out at you. But Jontel was tough. Like, if you saw Jontel play, high school, like he was tough. Like,
I seen it firsthand back then.
A
lot of work.
I thought it was a myth. They called him the Central Killer one time.
A lot of work.
I don't know if you remember that.
I know.
They called him the
Central Killer. And honestly, I can't say it's all the way a lie. I
thought it was a lie until he did something that was like, oh.
Yeah.
I got that nickname a little bit.
Yeah. He definitely was one of them back then for sure.
because I went to Rolling Acres as well, so I got to see a lot of their practices. Like a lot of the guys practices with you, and like I said with him, and just like seeing him then, I knew I was like, oh, he's gonna be one of them ones, because he just, like you said, he had it. He was crafty. He could finish with both hands. He could shoot. He could lock up on D if he needed to. Like he was one of them ones for sure. So I'm
And then
definitely
he was real fearless. He was
yeah.
fearless. You know, like, and I think that goes, like you said, we'll get into that later, but just throw it out there. I think that goes into, making a hooper, make you legit like that. Have that mindset. Like he wasn't scared of what side of this town you came from, or he played against you the same way he played against everybody. So that was a goal for him as well. He was definitely one of them.
That's fact. So I want to touch on something, D, because you said something interesting. Because your dad, like I said, he was on that legendary Central team, and he's one of those hoopers too that gets mentioned in that '90s era. Because there's so many kids that kind of have that similar stories, whether it may be an uncle or dad or a cousin or something like that they have to live up to this reputation of, well, your dad or your so-and-so used to do this. So like, what was that like on your shoulders, knowing that your dad had such a name in the city and was such a profound player? Like, did that motivate you, or like, what was that pressure like, I guess? Like, how did you handle it?
I definitely think it was a motivator for sure. And it's all about, I think, at ages and times of my life. The younger I was, it probably was a little more frustrating and hard to deal with that, because obviously at the time, I'm trying to build my own legacy and get my own path. I want to hear, I want to be SD White, not Charles White, son, Little White, whatever. But like I said, it definitely was a motivator, and at the same time, me just loving basketball, I respect and love greatness. So some of the fact that my dad was, obviously that good, that I'm supposed to fulfill a certain shoes, or when certain conversations come up, his name is mentioned. Like that is, that's a good feeling to hear. So, but at the same, I use it as motivation. I wanted to obviously be, if not just as good, but I definitely wanted to be better. I wanted to have my own legacy for people to remember me for, at the same time. But it was a motivation for real. It was definitely motivating.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Howard Nathan, I'm related to him. I always Howard showed up to my game because of the pressure. It was so much pressure because Howard's in the house. It's Howard Nathan, and that's your cousin. So you better perform.
Yes, you have to. You have to, and that's what I'm so glad.
Was my cousin.
Yeah, that's kind of my point. Like, I'm so glad that you guys brought that up, because that's such a thing. Like, to have a father or a cousin or an uncle known in the city for being a certain level of greatness, like, I could only imagine what that was like for you guys.
Oh, I hated it.
Especially you got Howard Nathan, bro. There's no way.
And they're on a loaded Sterling team, so it's like the expectations are already high, and then you got
to think of then outside of what you don't see in the basketball. See, the basketball court is just a half of it. Like, you got to go up. You got to think of, like, when we see how we doing right now, sitting at the dinner table behind everybody, in conversations, like,
Or if people see you, like, that's so and so fun, or that's so and so, like, so you have to carry that every single place that you go. So I could only imagine what that's like. Now, as far as since we've been bringing up some pretty legendary names, so I wanted to ask you guys, who is your and you don't have to rank them in order, just what comes to your mind. Who is your top 5 hoopers on the men's side and on the women's side? That's in Illinois basketball lore, so it could be Chicago, it could be Peoria, it doesn't matter. Who is your top 5 that you've seen personally in person that you would say is your top 5? And we're just gonna go our era.
Are we going all? You said our era?
Yes.
Okay. Our era. Okay.
So you can So actually, what we'll do is we'll do people that you guys played with or played against, and then we'll do just like an all-time top 5 to make it interesting.
So I'm gonna make it easy for everybody. I'm gonna just stick to strictly Peoria names.
Okay.
I want to dig out to, like, because a lot of people or some people may not know certain names, so I want to stick to our specific area.
Understood.
So my top 5 in no order. I'm not gonna put myself in and just off. I want to have a unbiased top 5.
For sure.
But so my top 5 that I played against and played with in my era. Honestly, no order. It would take me a while to sit down and really rank them in order. But I will have to say,
so for an actual ranking.
Donovan Stewart,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
He was in the game.
DJ Richardson.
Man, hey man, Donovan Stewart was tough. Oh my goodness. DJ Richardson.
It's some tough ones, man. Just full out game. I'm sorry. It's tough.
It is
No,
tough. Yeah.
yeah. When you think about it, it's not as easy. It's not as easy. Definitely. But take your time. It's all good.
I got 2 so far. You got them 2 in there? Man. So the reason why this is hard because it's just like I'm trying to be real and I'm thinking like there's so many players obviously in our city that's really good and has great careers and all that, but I'm just trying to think of like consistency, career wise, obviously the little accolades that we get in high school and stuff like that. And then personally, like who was like, dang, that dude, he was a handful. Like even like I got to witness it and be a part of it. So them 2, I'm honestly, I'm gonna have to go Trey Kellum.
Okay, I definitely agree with Trey Kellum.
Trey Kellum,
accolades, especially.
Just overall, everything, career, game. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good one. Trey Kellum is a good one.
Sleeper, I feel like a lot of people sleep on.
Yeah, like that's
so loaded. You would understand how individually good he was.
Right. Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, that them last 2 spots is really them 3 was already hard to put, but I can't really honestly say. No, I'm gonna just feel it. I'm gonna go with Tylen Deal.
Ooh, that's a sleeper too.
And honestly, Max.
Okay.
But then, like I said, the first 2 was hard, but the last, I even Trey, there's a lot of people that, what I'm saying, if you replace people in there, I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree. So that's okay. So you got your 5 from your era. All right, Easy. It's on you. 5 from your.
Yeah, I got 2 of the same. I got DJ in there. I got Donovan in there for sure. And then I gotta say, I'm probably gonna have to go with. I might be being a little biased. I played with him for so many years, but Bobo was probably in my top. Like his overall career, from first of all, the dude's been starting at top levels since he was like in the 5th grade. He used to have like college scouts at our middle school.
Yeah.
So personally seeing all that kind of stuff puts him in my top 5. So I got them 3: Donovan, DJ, Bobo. I'll probably have to go with. I'll probably have to go with Trey too. It's like a A1, A1B with him and Donis for me, just because they fall down on that team. But I'm probably gonna have to lean a little bit more Trey that way.
Okay.
And then my 5th, we actually wanted the person. Well, I should name him first because he like one of the people that came to my mind off tops. But Lawrence was always a lot for me to deal with personally. I just feel like something about dude didn't like me or something. Way he used to try to come at me, like he was a lot to deal with personally. Like he was always a great player too. So I'm not saying like just me, just in general, but he was always like defensive, like crafty scoring. Like Lawrence is probably in that state. Played pro ball, like Division One ball. Lawrence is definitely.
He was so quiet, like.
That's why people can forget somebody because he was so quiet and so like But
he was a dog. Oh yeah, he was a dog. Yes, indeed. So okay, so we got the 5 from your era. So now a little more interesting because it's probably a little bit harder. So let's do top 5 all time. So it doesn't matter any era. Oh, matter of fact, no. Let me go back. So top because you did the top 5 during your era for the men. So top 5 doesn't air for the women. We got to do the girls first.
Okay.
So anybody.
I kind of got my bias on my couple of them already. That's just me personally.
And it's but I got 2 names in my head that if you don't say it, we got problems.
Me being biased,
Yeah.
I might catch some heat for this, but I don't care. Mariah Smith is in my top 5.
Hey, I cannot debate
Living
that.
championship,
And
like
yeah, you a fool if you do. You a fool if you do, because Mariah was been tough since middle school. Like we can't
middle
do
school,
that.
middle
Yeah.
school, real tough, like real
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
gotta agree with that one.
Mariah, Brittany Matthews in our era, definitely.
Yeah, sure. Woo, Hooper.
Yeah. Oh,
Hooper.
no, our era. Okay, I was gonna get carried away. Go back some. But our era, I got Brittany, Mariah.
Okay.
A piece of me wants to be biased and put Siobhan in there too.
You got
there. I think I gotta put Vaughn in there.
You got
I see
to.
incredible things like.
And come on, bro.
Yeah, it was a game in Richwood in particular I'm thinking about, but man,
I'm about to say it.
Yeah, 3 Vaughn. Damn, who do I got? So I got 2 more.
Yep.
I might have to go Tiffany Kellum.
Yes.
I might have to go Tiffany Kellum in my top 5.
Yes.
Wow, the 2 Kellum in the top 5 is crazy. And then 5th, who do I want to say? There's a couple names I want to mention, but they all kind of like battling for that 5th spot.
Sure.
So I'm gonna go with, for time wise, I think I'm gonna go with Tona Shea.
Ooh, yeah, I like it.
Just straight buckets wise, she was a lot to deal with. I feel like on the offensive wise, a lot like people don't realize, but
like she could disappear, like
seriously,
that was a nightmare
for that.
Yeah. All right, D-White, who you got?
Mariah Smith.
Yeah.
Brittany Matthews.
Fair.
I'm gonna pick another central line. I'm gonna go Denisha.
Ooh.
She's real versatile, but
not a bad pick at all.
Not at all. Yeah, I can't even argue with that one. That's a good pick.
Yeah, for real. Trying to think of the games, man. I don't want to forget somebody.
I feel like my 5th spot so high. I had like 4 people I would want to name for my 5th spot. So that was
I will go TK. I will have to go TK.
Okay.
Trying to make sure I think it's like I feel like I'm leaving a guard.
I know that's why I'm trying to dig into the crates a little bit, but it's our air, so it's kind of like.
Yeah, there's a lot to choose from, so I get it.
Right, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
a lot.
On my 5th spot, I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna go with cousin Siobhan.
Yeah, gotta go with Siobhan. And any top 5 in y'all area without Siobhan is disrespectful.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Because
no, 3 years ago.
4. I thought that was a game. Freshman.
It was. He was a starter after the Richfield game. 4-year starter. Yeah.
Yes. I saw Siobhan's whole high school career, so I like I said, any top 5 without her on it, and like I said, in y'all area especially is I can't take it.
And the middle school version was more of a dog.
I'm sorry.
I said the middle school version of her was a dog too. Like people.
I actually heard about her first in middle school. That's what's crazy. Like, and I went to a different because we're only like a year apart, but I went to a different middle school, but I remember and she went to what middle school was that?
Pleasant Valley.
Pleasant Valley. Yeah, so we didn't play against them because they were in a different division, obviously. But I remember seeing her name in the papers, and I'm like, who is this? Like, she was the same stuff she was doing in high school, she was doing in middle school. So, all right, so let's go top 5 all time for Illinois basketball. Like I said, any era doesn't matter. You can rank them if you want. You don't have to, but who y'all got in the top 5? Like all time. This is all time. This is where it gets real interesting because now it's all time. Like who stands out?
Right.
All-time Illinois, right?
Illinois.
I'm
Strictly Illinois.
I'm
We're gonna keep
Fury. Okay. I'm gonna always do Fury.
Okay.
Yeah, and like we can simplify it as D Fury. That's fine.
I just want people to know the names.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So who y'all got?
Go take it to Blippy.
My top five, I think, is it's pretty much stayed the same over all these years. Got Sean Lewis. I think
Yeah.
somebody Sean Lewis to go. Frank, Howard,
Mhm.
AJ,
Woo, yeah.
and then I gotta go. It makes me want to be biased, put Jamar in there. That's just huge. What I boy.
Again, no.
I can be mad. Yeah, I can be mad.
You know what? I think I do gotta go Jamar. I think I do gotta go Jamar for my fifth.
Yeah, that I can't be mad at that. What about you, D-White?
I'm not gonna lie, mine's the same exact top five.
Yeah. Jamar's still doing it. Like, if you follow Jamar's career right now, he's still actively giving buckets out. Like as in yesterday, dropping a 25, 22 piece kind of thing. Like Jamar is here. I think he's solidified this.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I agree with that top five honestly because all of those guys were tough. And then, like you said, Jamar is still actively
Right.
hooping. So you got to definitely
Mm-hmm.
because he was a sniper. Jamar Smith was tough. Like if you got to see him play, you know what type of time he was on every single time.
Oh,
That
I do got a honorable mention though.
Okay.
I think you might agree with me. I don't know. Chase and Randall. You're not from here, but the area.
We go Illinois, then it's
No,
fine.
that's why.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Chase and Randall.
I'm gonna say if we're gonna go area, that's why I said I wasn't gonna say a lot of names because I know everybody know names.
Yeah, I know.
I might switch up my list if it was. We're gonna talk because I played against
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, mine is gonna change dramatically if we go Chicago and
Then you gotta throw in the senior team.
Yeah.
Chicago teams playing all that. Yeah,
I'm not gonna do that. I'm stick to Peoria.
Yeah,
Simeon, you can really do a whole top five for them for real. You can just do a whole five. So, all right. So you guys got the same top five for all time. All right. Top five women, same difference all time. And you can keep it, like I said, you can keep it Peoria to make it simple.
All time.
It's hard. See, I'm not gonna lie. For me, it's hard. I don't really know a lot of women's basketball history.
Fair.
Past like probably right before I came actually into high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really know much, but I mean, I'm about to go with people like Bianca Ward,
of course.
Brittany Matthew. That was kind of the one I feel like the only one I left off the other top five because that was more our era. I wasn't in high school. Bianca was in there. That's why. Yeah. Yes, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I don't really know the history. And then I will be honest, when I felt like I was probably basketball was more like, all right, I need to buckle down. So like my 7th through 8th grade, when I was kind of more had to worry about me, I didn't really see a lot of high school girls. So I remember what a lot of them did once they left middle school.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense.
Yeah, there definitely was some dogs. Like for example, like I don't think people remember like Thea and Tara and they was really good.
Yeah, Tara.
Like
dogs.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I got a cousin. I forgot her name, but Sean Wright's daughter. She was really good. She was real cold back then. Dominique was cold,
Yeah,
so,
of course, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I probably would just. I don't know who my fifth one. I forgot my fifth on the Peoria list, but unfortunately,
I think you said Siobhan.
I'm not gonna lie, I may have to lose. No, I won't take Siobhan. I don't know. Somebody got to come off, Bianca got to come off to make it an all time.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't decide who right now.
All time. I'm so biased from my era too. I don't really like to say the history of the women's side. I know pretty much our era and a little before, and a little after. Like,
how about? Go ahead. I'm sorry,
because I know some names I want to put in right now.
I was gonna say because Aaliyah.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yes.
In my top five.
When it's she already there. Yeah, she's top five.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's on some level.
She's on.
Probably on her way to being the GOAT.
No,
Yeah.
she's pretty updated. I was gonna say I got 3 names I had in my head off top. Aaliyah, Mariah, and Ward. Those my 3
Yeah, bro, that's like an all-time interview for me. Like, if I could find her, bro, and like, because people don't understand, like, had she not, the situation not happened, like, she would have been one of them ones. Like, she'd have put on this for the city for sure. Like, she'd have made the league. Like, she was that good. Like, I mean, I'm sure DY could probably attest to, because, you know, going to Rolling Acres, she was right at Richwood. So a lot of times she would come to like our scrimmages and stuff, like on Saturdays when we would have practices. So I got to see that up close, and she was so, like, she was different. Like, the stuff she was doing, Bianca Ward, the stuff she was doing was like, bro, girls are not supposed to be able to do this. Like, this is different. Like, it's really levels. But man, I wish I could.
That category owns to me. Like, people just name them 3, like, it's levels, and it's them 3, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
I said Bianca Ward, Mariah, like, and Aaliyah. Them 3, like, with their catalog and what they've done, like, I think it's
seriously.
Yeah.
And they all different eras too.
All different eras.
Yeah, they were all tough. So that I definitely agree with y'all.
Like I said, Siobhan might be in my top 5 too all time, honestly. Like,
fair, and I wouldn't debate that, because, like I said, Siobhan was one of the ones. Like, if you know, you know. Like, being around she was definitely a hooper for sure. So, all right, so so I saw this conversation the other day on Facebook, and you and I both chimed in about it. So I wanted to get both of your opinions, being that you guys both played with these 2 individuals and played against them. The Dorsey versus Drummond conversation, right? So we got DeAndre Dorsey, and we got Bobo, his last name is Drummond. So I know, like I said, I've seen both of them play myself, so I definitely have an opinion. But I want to get your guys' opinion on what is the versus? Like, what do you think? Because I know you and me, Easy, we kind of had the same thought process. It's like, it just kind of depends on what you need for that particular day or situation. But if we're looking at overall, just in totality, from their careers and stats and impact and things of that nature, like, who you got? Like, who's the one and why?
We actually debated this yesterday at a barbecue.
I love it.
I think we both were kind of in agreement that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we were kind of in agreement that overall career, or like, I guess, position at point guard in basketball, I'll probably go with Bobo. Just overall, what he's going to give me as in tempo, leadership, IQ, being able to score the rock, defensive, like everything. Like, I think I would just take that, even though Trey has a lot to deal with offensively. Like, you put the ball in his hand, he's going to give you a bucket. But I think it's the overall point guard position. It's like the Curry Magic thing in a sense, because overall floor general, you're probably going to take Magic. And that's the same thing I feel about Bobo. I want an overall floor general. Somebody's going to give me a point guard like vibe. I'm probably going to have to go with Bobo. But flat out bucket, Swain is a lot to deal with, though. He's a lot to deal with.
But what about you, D-Wade?
Playing with both of them for so many years.
Yeah.
I said you can play against them too. I think as a full basketball player, I think Bobo was the overall better basketball player.
Okay.
You know, and I know Swain, he gonna hear this and give me some heat later. But I mean, like Easy said it, man. Like, I think, you know, Trey definitely is. He is definitely, like I said, I've been quoted. You know, I said it, man. I didn't play against a lot of people. Trey Dorsey is definitely, you know, when we talk about top scorers and all that, he's gonna be in my top. Like, he's, you know, he just knows how to put that thing in the hole. You know, a lot of times, you know, from a lot of ways. I would never take that from him. But like you said, when we just, you know, and I think this is where we kind of, you know, a lot of sports talks and basketball talk for real gets mixed up at, is when we got to talk about like actual games. And when I say that, we mean, you know, from pickup to little leagues to actually a real team, from, like, you know, when we back in college and high school, you playing professionally, you know, from the basketball tournament, stuff like that, where, you know, it matters. So now
Mhm.
you can't do so. You know, you got to play, and that's when you find out actually how good people really are.
Right.
So when you think of games, you know, so when I think of like real basketball, I'm gonna have to go with Bobo just because, you know, one, he's bigger. No,
Yeah.
I think he's a better floor general. And at the same time, it's not like he can't score. He definitely can score as well, you know, so he can do all that, you know. And I think Trey, you know, he a little more kind of for himself, you know. And I'm not to say that he's just a selfish player, because he's not. Like I said, I didn't play with Trey. Yeah, he's a scorer. Like Trey actually is. He's your smallest shooting guard you're ever gonna see. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be fair. So, but just a full basketball player, I think Bobo would be the correct choice.
But I'm also a little biased too. I played ball for so long, and he made my job so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because both of you guys honestly bring up good points because Bobo he is your traditional point guard. He is your Chris Paul. He is your John Stockton, Steve Nash kind of guy. Like, he could definitely go off for 30, but more than not, he'd rather give you a 20 point 10 assists, 5 rebounds, like a couple steals here and there, because that's just naturally more so his game. I think that definitely Trey Dorsey is just like you said, both of y'all said it. He's just a bucket. Like, I mean, if you need a bucket, however you need it, he's gonna be able to get it somehow. Him being small don't even matter. Like, he's gonna get you a bucket. He just has a knack for that, and he also has the toughness to to will himself to score like that. He was just born to score. So if I had to choose overall basketball player, which DY, you actually brought this up, which is a really good point. When we talk basketball and position, it kind of gets misconstrued, especially now because there's so much positionless basketball going on. Like, everybody can do everything. You got centers that can shoot threes. You got, forwards that don't post up. They're more so on the block. You got, threes that can post up. Like, so it's just like, it's not that there's no traditional position anymore. But I mean, you guys played in an era where it was. And so if we're talking about complete basketball player, I would probably have to go with Bobo as well. But if game on the line, world's ending, I'm probably gonna go with Trey if I need a bucket.
I agree. I agree. And honestly, in these leagues too, like I'm telling you, I'm still active in these leagues, and so is he. And I'm telling you, so the leagues, and this is all, like we said, this has been always a thing with him. This is not new. This is because he's in the leagues now. So in a league setting too, where it's kind of like a little more free for all and stuff, I'm going with Trey as well.
Yeah, because yeah.
But like I said,
yeah, that's a different game because it's like you said, it's not as structured. So it's like it's more suited towards Trey's game, which is, like I said, to put the ball in the basket. So that makes a whole lot of sense. But yeah, like, I mean, he will definitely. I definitely would love to get his opinion. So we got to get him on the show too, because I know he probably has an opinion about it as well. But so kind of leading from that leading into my next question, Easy. What happened in that championship game, man? Because I see you wanted to argue with him so bad about what.
I did want to argue with him, but my memory. See, Swain don't know my memory is impeccable, and that's why I would always be able to be cool at basketball because I can scheme and stuff like that. I can remember. But anyway, that game, Trey Dorsey probably had like 30, and he probably had like 15, 6. No, he probably had like, honestly, he probably had like 22 at halftime.
Okay.
Because he was going ballistic, and we were down 2 starters.
Okay.
So we pretty much banking on our bench to stop this dude, who our starters wasn't even planning on stopping because he's a bucket, like we said.
Yeah.
But we were down 15 at halftime. We switched our whole defensive scheme up. We said we're gonna make Trey be a passer. We're gonna set chart. He was so quick to get into the lane and get into his sweet spots. That was Trey's game too. I feel like he's so quick. He can get to where he wants on the court to score because you're not faster than him. So he can beat you to a spot and get to his sweet spots and maneuver like that. So we were telling our coach, kind of just going about schemes with him. Like, yo, we gotta tell the dude, like anybody else, like, get the ball out of his hands. So long story short, it works but doesn't work because we still lose the game, but it slows him down enough to where we can get back into the rhythm of the game. The game comes down to the fourth quarter. It's like maybe 45 seconds left. 3-point game. We're on the free throw line. My teammate misses both of them, actually. That's what happened. He's like a 90% free throw shooter. He misses both of them. They outlet the ball to Boog. Shout out Boog. Outlet the ball to Boog. He hits a transition 3. like 30 seconds left in the game. Usually in middle school at that time, you hold the ball, letting them foul you, run the clock. This dude catches the ball on the outlet and shoot the three in transition. Nails it. Boom. Now we down 6. And it's like maybe 20 seconds left to go. We playing the clock. I think I go to the free throw line. I split. So now we're down 7. We got a foul. They make 2. We come down, score again, lose by 7. That's how the game went. Swang said we lost by 20. That didn't happen, Swang. Y'all beat us by 20 like last. No, that didn't happen, Swang. The championship game to play Tree wins. We lost by 7. Then it was a pretty close game until like 30 seconds left in the game, and how I just broke it down to y'all.
Yeah, because I'm like, I seen a couple of different debates on there. I'm like,
Yeah, I was busy that day. That's why I ain't tried back in. He lucky I was busy that day. I want to show people receipts.
Yeah, because I see him at Bobo's another one I wanted to get on the show too, because I seen them kind of have a back and forth. Like that competition is definitely.
Bobo remember that game? Yeah.
That competition is definitely still there. You can definitely tell, but you can definitely always tell that there was respect between the two, which is what I appreciate about that whole exchange. But I had to know, because I was kind of reading the comments back and forth and I was cracking up. I'm like, I gotta ask him about that.
Yeah, Swain don't know that my memory is still there. Like, I remember that game, bro. You ain't gonna fool me on that game. I swear I was getting my ring that year, so yeah, you ain't gonna fool me.
That is hilarious. I love that. Okay, so are you guys big college basketball fans at all, or?
I mean, the
have
way
you been paying attention, or?
I mean, yeah, I still watch a lot of college basketball, but especially the way NBA is like pushing the G leagues and the overseas and stuff like that. I kind of expanded my watch to like the G League team and stuff like that. But I still watch college basketball like dominantly versus the other leagues and stuff like that. Yeah.
Fair enough. So is there any players that are kind of on your radar this year as far as college basketball that you are anticipating on seeing? Like, do you have any predictions for any guys right now? Because this particular freshman class is loaded. Like, there's so much talent to go around. So is there anybody in particular that's caught your attention?
I don't think in particular. I'm actually kind of excited to see what the rookie class that just came and got drafted, like the
Got you.
Grady Dick in his class, like the Thompson twins. So, and I'm also looking at teams as a whole. Like, I think certain teams are going to be really good. Individuals, I can't really like
pinpoint
anybody just pinpoint right now at this very second. I know it's a lot of good recruits and everything like that, but I don't think anybody just stands out to me personally just yet. Like, as in, like, I'm looking forward to what his next leap is going to be. But I think it's a lot of good talent coming in. I'm looking for like certain teams to be like really good this year.
Absolutely. What about you, D-White?
I'm thinking. I mean, I guess I'm not really huge on keeping up with a lot of them. The names that's coming in. Obviously, as far as like the ones that get promoted well, as far as like people's sons. So obviously, I'm looking forward to see what like the Mikey Williams gonna do, the Bryans, and I believe I think DJ Wack. I don't know, but like them. Yeah, So like them type of guys, I'm very curious what they're gonna do. Obviously, like our home base guys, it's not in freshman year no more. It's like going on to like junior, seniors, like the Adam Millers, the Noah Reynolds.
Yeah, I didn't say him. He's already there. That's why.
Noah Reynolds, Ethan Kaiser from Metamore, those stuff. So I like checking in, obviously, on our home team, home guys. But other than that, not really. I think Easy said it right. I think it's more this year as like a team thing. Like I want to see what team is going to be actually the team here. I don't really think like a super standout guy yet this year.
Yes,
I haven't really heard one. Besides, like I said, them guys I named. But yeah, that's them the ones I'm interested in.
Fair enough. I think I would agree. Obviously Bronny. Definitely want to see Bronny, what he does. Mikey as well, because I feel like I've been waiting for Mikey to get to college forever. I don't know why it's been so long, but definitely waiting on him. But I think I would agree with you guys as well, as far as like just see what teams are going to be kind of rise to the occasion, I guess, in a sense, because I feel like this is one of those weird years in college basketball where it's an even playing field. Like you don't have like a Kentucky or a Duke or a UNC that's like these are going to be the top 3, and then everybody else is going to have to fall in line. Like this year is kind of you know, which I like. I feel like it makes it more interesting because these kids are going to other schools outside of that. Like USC is loaded with talent on both sides. You know,
Loaded.
so even outside of Bronny. So that's definitely makes it interesting as well. But yeah, definitely looking forward to see what they do. We'll have to tap back in and update and see kind of how that's been going. But so we'll go from there to the NBA season because the NBA season's right around the corner. Next month is kicks off preseason. So that's gonna be fun. Do you guys have any like early predictions on who's gonna do what this year? Because I feel like again the NBA is kind of on that same spectrum as college. Like there's no clear cut. It's just like everybody has gotten better. Everybody's gotten more, you know,
Sure.
different clicks, more players, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. So it's just kind of like an even playing field right now. But is there an early prediction that you guys have of maybe a team or a player that you might think is going to stand out this year?
Team wise, I don't think, like you said, I don't think there's like that, just that one team that's like, man, they it or they fell off so bad. You know, like you said, I think it's pretty even. It's going to be interesting to see where everybody falls in line. You know, you still kind of got your, you know, uppity teams. I feel you still got Denver returning champs. They haven't lost anything. They lost Brown. That was big, but you know, I think he can be replaced with a team like that. So you got them. I'm a diehard Laker fan, so to see how we start getting momentum towards the end of the season, and I just think if we would have got that team a little earlier, I think it would have carried longer. So I'm really excited to see what we do with our returning team. I am one who've always been said I've been quoted for since it started. I am not off of the Warriors wagon yet. I think they still just, you know, when you shoot, first of all, when you got Steph Curry, Clay, and you know, Draymond, you say whatever you want to say. That
Yeah.
3-4, first of all, they're the top, you know, two. You got the greatest shooter and another top 5 greatest shooter ever.
Mm-hmm.
In the core, you know, success just surrounds itself around them. So,
Yeah.
with, you know, depending what they do, I'm never counting them out. Obviously, you know, the Bucks. I think Giannis is like very pissed and, you know, thirsty to get another ring.
Yeah.
That, you know, Boston got a taste and they made some big chances. Again, the team wise, it's really nobody. I think some leaps will be made this year. Like I'm very interested to see what Anthony Edwards do after he get better every year. And then coming off how he's been playing in the USA team where he really took they were about to have him come off the bench, and now he's shows like I am the guy. I am the best player on this team, hands down. And this player is that's a little older than him. That's probably should be more than him. Brandon Ingram is like quarterback, but I'm interested to see Anthony Edwards. Stuff like people like them. So yeah, them are the top. And again, I think you say like for the rookie class that's coming in, it's a pretty exciting one. And I think we haven't really seen a great rookie class in a while. We've got a few players here and there, but I think this is like a pretty good one. Solidly through. We're like, okay, I think, and especially where these players landed. It's really interesting because, like you said, the Thompson twins, they both landed on Detroit and Houston, and both of those teams are like two great young teams. So like if both franchises can be patient and let them build, Houston just made some great additions. They went and got Fred Lee, Jeff Green to get some
veterans in there,
yes, guys know how to win and play. And Detroit just comes. You got Ivy, Cunningham, Wiseman. Did you go get Thompson? Jalen, Stewart. Like you just on the right path. So that being said, I'm really interested to see them guys and how they impact these teams, because I think they will. By the way,
What about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely in the same boat with him and some of the players like Anthony Edwards. That's not my big one to watch him because you can just tell he's growing every year. I think Austin Reeves is going to have a great year. I'm ready to see what he do. I think he's going to have another not spectacular, nothing crazy like 30 points a game, but I think he's really, really solid for the Lakers in his role, playing right in his role, taking a leap there. I want to see. I'm a big Detroit Pistons fan. I've been a Detroit Pistons fan since a kid, so I'm ready to see what they're doing, especially drafting the Thompson twin. Look great in summer league, two-way. Who can hold the ball? It's like look great. I'm ready to see Cade Cunningham come back healthy. He would get some good reps in with the USA team. He looked real good with them, so I'm ready to see them guys gel and get a little better. I'm ready to see Lonzo Ball take another leap. I want to see him get a little.
Ball.
I mean, I'm sorry, Melo. Yeah, I was thinking about Lonzo getting healthy. I want to see Lonzo get healthy, and I want to see Melo take that next leap.
Yeah.
But team wise,
Victor too. Forgot about Victor.
Oh,
yeah, Victor. Yeah.
I mean, he definitely, yeah, I can lie. He probably the main one just because off of the hypeness around him.
Yeah, right.
Of course. So I wanted to go back a little bit on something that you actually said, D. White, because you mentioned Giannis and you mentioned the Bucks and kind of their current situation. And I'm glad that you brought that up because there's been a lot obviously surrounding Giannis and the Bucks, being that he's put out a statement essentially saying, if we're not trying to win championships, I'm not going to sign an extension. Like, I'm essentially going to start looking elsewhere. What do you think how does that situation play out? Because I think Giannis, he likes being in that Bucks situation, being the guy and kind of how they constructed their team to that team that won them a championship. But I also think he sees the KDs and the Stephs and the Bronze and these bigger markets expand beyond basketball as far as like, you know, their brand and things of that nature. So do you think he stays in Milwaukee, or is it a situation where you know, like you said, he start looking otherwise or looking elsewhere?
I mean, personally, I think Giannis is a very patient, down to earth guy. So I think he's definitely going to hear him out. There's definitely some conversations and meetings to be had. With that being said, I personally think that he gives it another whatever he has remaining on this contract. I don't see him signing the extension just yet because I'm not even sure if the Bucks are really in any financial place to make big transactions to help him.
Absolutely.
And obviously, I think Giannis feels he can win with what he has now. So, again, that's all down with the meetings and conversations they have. So he gets that, that feeling and, whatever he needs from the guys so that they ready to roll, and I think he all in. But like you said, I do think, eventually that comes in that's life. I think all that stuff you said. I think Giannis if I went to Miami, if I go to Boston, LA, just in LA, just stuff like that. Like I can still win. I'm already a great player. People don't want to play with Giannis, and it's a bigger market. So I definitely think those things break, and they'll come into play eventually. And obviously, again, that's conversations with him, his teammates, families, and etc. But I think Giannis would be there for a while. I do. I think he's loyal. I think they'll still try to do whatever they need to do to please him if they're smart.
Yeah.
But eventually, I just think, every time, Father Time is, nobody beats that. So I still think there's going to be a time, he's going to want to experiment something. But
What about you?
Yeah, I think we'll still
see
in the Milwaukee uniform for a while.
For sure. What about you, Easy? What do you think?
I think I kind of feel the same way. I feel like he's patient enough to try to Milwaukee kind of figure things out. But I don't think I personally believe in the franchise as a whole to get the job done of what guys needs to compete like in the long run for things. So I feel like they might lose him for that reason, not because he's not doesn't like Milwaukee, doesn't like the situation. I feel like Chris Middleton is a big, him being healthy is a big thing. If he can stay healthy, that's a big difference. You can get his contract right, get Jrue Holiday contract right, and keep them guys together. It's a big difference. But I don't know if I have faith in their organization to get it done to the passion it needs to be done. That's just the first thing.
Do you guys think he needs another start in order to be able to compete? Like, does he need to bring another top tier talent? Maybe not obviously as talented as him because there's not a whole lot of Giannis floating around. But do you think that he needs just maybe one more co-star that's like on a superstar level to compete for a championship?
Me personally, yeah. I think the way the league is shifting and the way it continues to go, like nobody, you have to have that, second superstar. If you think of our past teams, even the year the Bucks won, what was that, 2019 or 2020?
Yeah, 2020.
21, wasn't it?
2021.
Yeah,
Because
2021. Right.
Yeah.
So even if you think about the year they won, right?
Yeah.
Paper wise, they technically didn't have another superstar. They had Giannis, you had Chris Middleton, All Star, I think, Drew Holiday, also All Star. But the core was so intact. Like when you get people like that, when you get a whole, I'm talking about to the perfect part, and then you got the leadership of the Giannis, who like you got the best player in the world, and you got I got all two All-Stars that are legit All-Stars, and I'm not gonna lie, Chris Middleton will float some games between All-Star to Superstar, and then you got Drew Holiday, who was just very consistent All-Star play. That's good enough sometimes, and it was good enough that year. Now, for I think the career Giannis wants to have, because I think he's looking at the Jordans, the Kobe's, Bron, and like all them accolades, multiple rings, yeah.
Right.
Especially in today's league, you need a double-headed at minimum snake.
Mm.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not. My brothers, they'll tell you, my dad, I'm not fully sold on Chris Middleton as being that second option, just guaranteed. It worked, it did, and obviously, just if I'm him, I'm arguing because they worked. So, but moving forward, I do think they need to do something. I think another guy needs to come in there, and they need another star. They do. And I don't know what that, obviously how that entitles. You probably have to lose Chris Middleton or Drew Holiday to do that. But if that takes bringing in a Dame, you see you put Dame and Giannis together. Now we
definitely going for that. But
I'm just saying, so like Dallas, I think you do need another superstar to help Giannis eventually, because I think the league at the end of the day, he's still in my head right now. I think Giannis is still the best player in the world, but I think he's still eventually getting figured out just because that jump shot is not automatic. It's way better than before, and it's still improving year by year. But I think they're figuring it out, especially when the postseason comes.
Yeah.
When I dial in and play a team and beat them 4 times, I only got to worry about y'all. The regular season is different. You go from game to game. But that playoff different. I can lock in on just y'all for the main game. It's different, and I think that bothers them. And when, like you said, you got Chris Middleton, you're not going to be healthy, and then other players that's just not technically that good fully to get you over that, to get you, what I'm saying? They need another superstar.
My thing is with that, I feel like I do agree they need some. They can use another superstar because it wouldn't hurt at all. But I feel like they have a pretty decent size team and a pretty decent depth to where if they can get those two things locked in, and you got Brook Lopez like doing this thing, and you got what's the kid from Duke name that played for them?
Grayson Allen.
Yeah, Grayson Allen when he's doing this thing. Or did he get? Yeah,
he's still there.
No, he's still there. He's still there.
Okay, you got people like that locked in. I feel like Milwaukee is still like pretty in the mix. Having another something like that, that puts you like but
the separation.
Like a healthy, clicking Milwaukee team playing how they need to play. I feel like they're still a top 3 power in the East to me.
And with that being said, that's very true. Because if you think about even back to last season, they was the number 1 seed with that exact same team that we just did.
Very true. That's very true.
Saying like obviously, when we talk about the NBA, when we say superstar, that means y'all are the best players in the world. The few select, obviously, the whole NBA are the best players in the world, but now y'all are like the legit level to it. So what that means, and I think it's skill, but it's when you get to NBA status, it's all about consistency. Who can do this literally for the just honestly, And I think that's what obviously the Heat last year got really good. Like it went on the perfect run at the perfect time. But if you think about it, if you had another superstar in Milwaukee, and like again, the Heat beat some teams with double superstars. They did. So I don't know how to compare them, but just think about I'm just trying to think of Giannis, his mentality with another superstar. I think stuff like that don't happen.
Yeah.
Because you say they have to play right, which they do, but you see games where they didn't play right and they went as the number 1 seed and lost to the AC. So if you got
they had no wiggle room. Had to play right.
Exactly. So if you got another superstar, Grayson Allen can take that wiggle room and not make shots. If you think about it, their best player in the series, second best player ended up being Bobby Portis, probably. Drew Holiday wasn't on nothing. Yeah, you can't have that happen.
That's very true, and I think
best player where everybody's playing back if you got another superstar going bang with Giannis.
No, I definitely agree with that, and I think you hit a lot of great points. But what I'll throw at you maybe as a curveball here is, I think with that it's situational as far as like the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat. The difference is Jimmy Butler can shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like Jimmy Butler can has the advantage of having an outside game. Like he can, yes, of course he can bang inside, but he can
Right.
also hit shots when need be. You also had a Max Strus who could hit shots from deep. You had a Gabe Vincent. You had, like he was surrounded with shooters, and I think the difference with Giannis is that he's not surrounded by great shooters, and he's not a great shooter himself. So it's like when you put him in those situational positions of the playoffs, and that shot's not falling, and then everybody else at the same time is not clicking on all cylinders, it falls apart. So
Yep.
to kind of, I guess to your point, I think he needs another superstar to balance off him. So when he has those moments, think about why Golden State went to recruit KD. It's because when Steph and Clay go cold, you can't rely on Draymond to carry the offensive load. You know what I'm saying? Like he can make, he's going to have his contributions, obviously, but he's not a Steph, he's not a Clay. So if you got another guy who's walking in the gym that can give you 30 in street clothes, that makes things a lot better and a lot different. But I think Giannis too, a part of him as his development, he has to develop a more consistent jump shot to where it's a threat. See, it's one thing for it to be improved, but it has to be where you have to account for it. Because if you have to account for it, that opens up their offense so much more. Because if all we have to do is clog the lane, that's that's an easy remedy. Like most teams when they play against the Bucks to slow Giannis down, they just throw a bunch of big bodies in the lane to make it difficult for them.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's like, if you can get through that, we'll live with it. But more times than not, you ain't gonna want to bang every time you come down, come down the floor. So I definitely agree that they need another superstar. But realistically, it's like, one, who could they possibly go after, and two, would they want to play in Milwaukee?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of things to play in there.
Yeah, that's a small market, and most small market teams they usually lose superstars like that.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think the Giannis got a better jump shot too. Then you almost you're really unstoppable now. So now what do you do?
Yeah, because I think those other role players can, obviously consistently still play their roles, but I just feel like their offense would flow so much better if he could pull somebody out 15, 20 feet, knock that, like a KG, like knock that corner jumper down, or that mid free throw line jumper down. Then it's like, oh, I can't throw bodies in the paint. I got to bring somebody out. So that means somebody's going to either be, you got to stretch the floor way better. And I just think he has to develop some kind of, or even just a more of a soft touch around the rim as far as like post moves wise. Because even when he tries to do the hook shot, it's hard sometimes. Like, I'm like,
anything that's not a dunk or
a layup or straight to the basket layup, it's like he struggles with it. It's difficult for him. So I definitely, especially at this juncture in his career, like you gotta have something in your bag that's like, I know I can count on that. Mm-hmm. So that definitely makes things different. Now I want to ask you too, since we're talking about just players in different situations. What do you guys think of the James Harden situation? Like, what are your thoughts? Because there's a lot surrounding that. Obviously, like he has thoughts about the owner and he doesn't want to be there anymore. And then, on their side, it's like, this is your, I think, third team at this point where you kind of quit your way out of it. So like, what are you guys' thoughts on that situation? And where do you guys see him end up going? Like, does he stay with Philly? Do they finally give him what he wants and trade them? Like, what do you guys think?
Me personally, I think he's so hard to figure out because I don't know what James Harden wants in his career. He doesn't make it like clear cut. Like some guys are like, yo, at this point in my age, I want to win. Put me in a situation where I want to win. Some people are like, yo, I've done my winning. Give me my bag. Some people are like, I've never really been able to, through his years, I never been able to catch his MO really. I feel like he wants to win, but not really that bad. But he also wants to get paid, but getting paid isn't that important because he'll leave if he wants to. Like, so I think I don't know where James Harden ends up. I don't know where his mind is at in his career, as in like what he wants the most. I feel like he's gonna not be in the Sixers uniform because he can't stand the owner, but I don't know if that helps his career leaving though.
Yeah. What about you, D-Wade?
I mean, I'm with you. I 100% agree with him on. I don't know exactly what James Harden's ever been technically looking for.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I think James Harden. I think he's one of he's a great talent, and what he's done over his career is good enough to get him in the Hall of Fame and etc. But if you want to be real, James Harden, I think he needs to be careful because he kind of might play his way somewhat out the league because you're not getting any younger.
Mhm.
You're not even playing. It's not like you're still playing. And I don't know if you can. You're not choosing to. You're not in enough shape. Again, like you said, I've never been able to read him fully. So I'm not. Like I said, you're not getting any younger. There's younger players that can literally do what you're doing, and maybe then some. You've always been a liability on defense. So, I mean, I really can't put my finger on what's going to happen. I don't really know what you get in return for James Harden at this stage of his career. Like, I don't, yeah, he's not a guaranteed winner. Just no championships have been brought under his belt, and et cetera. So I don't know. I really can't put my finger on it because at the same time, you want to say they're going to force him to play and not cater to him, but as a you don't want that on your team, especially like you, the Sixers franchise. You got the MVP. Joel Embiid has been the MVP last year. The last 3 seasons been in the final 3 of voting. You always been that close to getting over that hump, but you just can't do it. And I don't think they really want to go straight back to the rebuilding process. I think they want to get over that hump now. They see the time. But what is it? What are you going to get from James Harden? I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know where he's going to end up.
Yeah, that's a good analogy because I'm kind of on that same track because it's one of those things where you often wonder, like you said, what is he thinking? Like, what is his mentality? Like, is it, do I want to win? Do I want to get the bag? Do I just want to, put up a lot of crazy stats? Like, what exactly do I want? And I think DY made a really good point as far as like playing himself out of the league because it gives me a similarity of like how Carmelo was. Because when Carmelo was like he got really stubborn and really like stuck in his ways. And
I was definitely thinking the same thing.
I'm still Melo of past, and that wasn't particularly the case because he had gotten a little bit older. He gained a little weight. He wasn't the same. He still could get a bucket. Obviously, Melo could get a bucket and sleep, but he wasn't the same Carmelo that he thought he was in his mind. And I think a part of James's problem is that he still in his mind sees himself as Rockets James Harden, and I don't think he's that anymore because there was a time where more times than not he was Houston James, what I'm saying, Houston James James Harden, like he was dropping 30 and having triple doubles and like just leaving Earth essentially. But now more times than not he's having those blunders, those really bad games where it's just like, is he hurt? Is he overweight? Like you just, like you said, you just don't know. So what do you think? Is that a mentality thing? Like as far as maybe mentally he doesn't have it, or is he just limited physically, and he just kind of made the best of his situation and we really didn't see these flaws before? Like have they always kind of been there, or is it a situation where
To me, they've always kind of been there. I've watched his whole career. I feel like mentally he's not what I would like him to be. Like when he was at OKC, it was kind of okay to have that, not have to be the mentally tough guy all the time. You're so young. You're playing with Kevin Durant. You're playing with James Harden.
Coming off the bench.
Russell Westbrook. Yeah, so you come off the bench, so the pressure is less. But I feel like as you elevate with your bag, with your career, with your accolades, scoring titles, everything like that, XYZ, your mentality has to elevate too. You got to be like, I can take on more pressure. And I feel like he's never been able to take on more pressure as his brand elevates.
Sure. It was. I mean, he got better and better every in season.
Yeah,
and then every playoff come, and then it's like like me and my dad always felt that year when Chris Paul was in the Rockets, and I think it was 2017, and they were up 3-2 on the Warriors, and Game 6.
Kevin Durant led Warriors.
Yeah, the Kevin Durant Warriors, and they was up 3-2 in Game 6.
their house, right? That was at Houston, wasn't it?
Both of them, game 6 and 7
And
was in
7,
Houston. Yeah. And then Chris Paul was hurt, but me and my dad always said that a super, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron, people like that, they could have won one game.
Yeah, absolutely.
They could have put the team on my back. They would have looked up and said, okay, we are up 3-2. One win, we go to the finals, and we know the winner, we know at that time, the winner of this series is most likely going to win the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And which I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say that part because actually they played LeBron that day, so I don't know how Houston would have. But anyway, we know we get so we one game away from the finals, and we got the next 2 games at home.
Mm-hmm.
Certain superstars know how to win one game.
Yes.
With that type of when it's that right there, it's right there, finish line.
That's essentially a layup. All you got to do is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And James Harden, and even the games, it'd be different. Like, LeBron has done this a lot of times. But, like, he laid it all out there. We can honestly say, like, this just wasn't his fault. Like, he didn't get enough help. Like, he literally did not get enough help. Like, the games, James Harden, like I don't think he necessarily played bad.
Games,
but, like, them the games, you're supposed to do your average. When you average.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. I can't hear you. Oh, yeah, you muted. Okay, there we go.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's all good. So yeah, like you were saying, DY, you said those are the games where you're supposed to do your average.
Yeah, and I just think he just never, stepped up in the moments as being the man, the superstar,
Yeah.
And so all the way leading up to now, he did it last year. Like I said, he had to get last year's game 1, 40 points, buzzer beater. I mean, not buzzer beater, a clutch shot, and then you up and on. You got 12 points one game.
So
you can't be that. You can't be a superstar, especially this late in your career, and be doing that. And then think expected to get a bag or a long-term contract. Any caterness, how about that?
Yeah, for sure. I totally
agree. 1,000,000%. It's not 100%. It's not LeBron's resume. No.
Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. And this is why I have an issue with, because I'm not sure. I think it was Jeff Teague. I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but where he said he would rather. I guess that he felt like James Harden was better because a lot more people play like James Harden or kids play like.
I saw that. Who said that again?
Jeff Teague.
Oh, that was the whole Jeff Teague or D Wade thing.
Jeff Teague and D Wade. He said.
Yeah,
saying like, yeah, I saw that.
And I mean, in a sense, I can kind of see where he's coming from as far as like, because kids nowadays, how the game is being played, especially with it's a lot of ISO ball for one.
Yeah.
And for two, there is the influence of James Harden with the step back and the side step 3 and the the handle. So I can see where he's coming from with that. But my thing is, if we're looking in totality, like you said, D-White, like when you're a player of a superstar status, you've got to be able to close that deal. And I can honestly say every time Dwayne Wade's been in that situation, he's closed that deal. Like you can if you would have gave Dwayne Wade the same setup, up 3-2 at home with two home games, he's winning one of those games. Like
he's gonna win the game,
without a doubt. Like he's gonna win. He's gonna will himself to win it, or will his team if he's on his last leg to get at least one of those games.
Right.
Like I think he shrivels from the moment the way James Harden has done repeatedly. I think too with him, I don't think that there's a big market for James Harden right now. As far as where Philly could possibly trade him to, because I think a lot of people are kind of over. Hold on a second. I think we're frozen. Okay, there we go. I think people are kind of over just the whole stigma of James Harden of we might get maybe one good year or a half of a season out of him, and then if he's not happy, he's just gonna say F it and just do what he want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which kind of goes to your point of playing himself out of the league, because he's 33 going on 34 now. So it's like you're not getting any younger.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah, dog years. You old. You old.
yeah, you old in the NBA,
You
and I
old.
mean the league is getting younger and younger and younger.
Yep.
So it's like at this point, like I said, I don't think the market is very high for him. I think they're probably gonna eventually they're gonna have to trade him because it's gonna get ugly, and they don't want to. I don't think they want to deal with another Ben Simmons situation because that's what it's gonna essentially turn into.
Right.
I don't know where he goes though. I don't know who would want to take that contract, take on everything that comes with him. Like I'm not too sure, but I wanted to get your guys' opinion too on the best point guard ever conversation because Steph Curry was on Gilbert Arenas podcast, and he was talking about the like top 5 point or who was the best point guard, and he said he felt like the conversation was him and Magic Johnson. A lot of people agree, a lot of people disagree. So what are you guys' thoughts on that situation, and who would you classify as the best point guard ever?
The greatest point guard. I probably would still have to go with Magic. Still right
Mhm.
now. Especially when we talk about that position.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, the ultimate floor general, showman. Um, first then he he did the whole versatile. I can play the point guard, the five.
Mm-hmm.
Just like running the Showtime. Like you think of, because they both kind of have not, I don't say similar careers, but just like similar like outlay. Like you're playing
Yeah.
with two other Hall of Famers on your team from times, and you're the point guard position. You still as much as Steph is not like your traditional point guard, he still definitely dictates the offense without the ball, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where a lot of people get lost at.
That's a
And
good
that's where Magic had the ball a lot more in his hands. Like your traditional point guard was, far as throwing the passes, setting up and set up the plays. For Steph, he moves out the ball and all the attention is still on him. Where's he running to? Who's going to switch on to him? Oh, shoot, we both switch, and now the next man's wide open. And I think that gets looked down, doesn't get recognized a lot, a lot. And if you don't know the full game of basketball, you don't see that thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people that don't know full basketball just see Steph Curry as a shooter. And
Yeah.
no basketball, Steph. He's literally everything. Drive, shoot, all that. Man, like there's nothing that Steph Curry can't do.
Yeah.
But I think that definitely downplays it. But when we still talking about like the overall point guard, and I think accolades mean something too. Like people try not to don't mean like I'm not gonna lie. Like what do you play basketball for? You play
Yeah.
to win. Like that's the ultimate do. Like you're on a team
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the year to be the champion, last team standing. And don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong, individuals and all that definitely is all that plays. But
Mm-hmm.
Magic still has more championships. He has more MVPs,
Finals appearances.
Just like he's done a little more still up to this day in this point of their careers.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's not going to surprise me one day if Steph becomes just that guy. Because I think he's top 10 all
Absolutely.
all time overall.
Absolutely.
But I still right now and it's not by a lot at all. I'm still probably gonna have to go Magic, but I mean, if you took Steph, I'm probably not gonna argue with
you. Yeah, I would. Go ahead, Easy. I'll let you give your opinion.
Hey, real quick, because we do got to wrap it up. I do want to
Okay,
gotcha. Me personally, I've always, like I said, not being a star in a sense, I've always been a starter, but not a star. I've always looked at the game a little different. So I always wanted winning versus scoring. So I was like, I'm not supposed to be the star anyway. I want to win the ball game. That's where my impact is. So I'm always going to take the person who wants to win more versus the person who wants to score more. And I'd say that Steph doesn't want to win because he's obviously a 4-time champ for a reason with multiple championships, like finals for a reason. But Magic is a winner, like from college to the NBA, like he's a winner. Dwayne Wade versus James Harden thing. I'm going with D Wade. He's the winner. I want to go with the winner always. That's me personally.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would agree with both of you guys. And I'll say my last point, and then we can wrap it up. I know you guys got to go, but I think too, it kind of depends on what. It's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. It's like, what do we classify as point guard? Because if you look at Steph now, Steph is the evolution of what the point guard is now. So if we're talking about, then yes, Steph would be the best, hands down, absolutely. But if we're talking traditional point guard and overall, I'm gonna go Magic as well, just because to me, point guard means that you are you're influencing the game in the fact that the ball is majority in your hands because the offense runs through you. Now, the way that Steph and the Warriors run their offense is different because they essentially Draymond is probably more so a point guard in that sense than Steph is because he initiates the offense typically. He'll get the rebound, he'll bring the ball up, he'll set up the offense. Steph is still, screening and pointing and having people move around, but the offense starts with Draymond. So it's like it's just like I said, it's an evolution of what the point guard is. So if you're talking today, then Steph is the best, yes. But if we're going overall, I think it still has to be Magic. But like I said, I know you fellas got to go, so we're definitely going to wrap it up here. We'll definitely have to have you guys on again so we can talk about some more stuff. Thank you so much for coming on the show and for joining me today and giving me your insight. I really had a lot of fun today.
Man, so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, for sure. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up, fellas, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace out.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate it, man.